There is a way many people have come to understand spiritual growth in recent decades. It is often described through the language of dimensions: third, fourth, fifth dimension, up to the 18th dimension and beyond. In this view, consciousness is imagined as moving upward, from denser awareness into more expanded states of perception, from limitation toward greater understanding. The journey is often pictured as a ladder, each step representing a higher level of awareness, each dimension representing a place we are gradually moving toward. For many people, this framework has been helpful. It gave structure to experiences that once had no clear language. It suggested that human awareness might be capable of expanding far beyond the ordinary ways we were taught to see the world. But it is worth noticing something important. The idea of numbered dimensions as a ladder of spiritual progress is actually quite recent. Earlier spiritual traditions certainly spoke about expanded states of awareness, subtle realms, or deeper aspects of experience. But they rarely described reality as a sequence of numbered dimensions that consciousness must climb through. The familiar language of 3D, 4D, and 5D became widespread much later, particularly through the New Age movement, when spiritual ideas from many traditions were suddenly becoming available to large numbers of people at once. At that time, humanity was encountering a vast amount of spiritual information. Teachings about energy, consciousness, subtle perception, and expanded awareness were appearing everywhere. For many people, this was both exciting and overwhelming. The dimensional ladder helped organize that flood of information into something understandable. It gave people a map, a simple way to recognize that reality might be far larger than the physical world they had been taught to see. In that sense, the ladder served a purpose. But a map is not the territory. And as perception settles more deeply, another way of understanding begins to appear. To see it clearly, it helps to look at the difference between two ways of perceiving reality. The vertical view tells us we are beings climbing toward expansion. The horizontal view reveals we are the expansion itself, having a focused human experience. The ladder says expansion is above us. The field shows expansion is what we already are. Vertical perception, the ladder model. Vertical perception sees consciousness as a ladder, rising upward through levels. In this view, existence is structured like a hierarchy. Lower states of awareness sit at the bottom, and higher states exist above them. Growth is imagined as a movement from the lower to the higher. The physical world is often described as the starting point. From there, awareness is believed to evolve into increasingly subtle levels of perception. Emotional or psychic experience may be described as the fourth dimension. Expanded unity awareness becomes the fifth. Higher dimensions are added to describe increasingly refined states of consciousness. Within this framework, spiritual development means progress. You move upward. You reach new levels. You leave the lower behind and enter the higher. This model can be motivating. It gives direction. It suggests that consciousness is capable of becoming far more expansive than our ordinary perception suggests. But it also carries an assumption. It suggests that expansion is somewhere above us. It implies that what we are now is incomplete, and that something greater lies further up the ladder, waiting to be reached. Horizontal perception. The field model. Horizontal perception begins somewhere entirely different. Instead of seeing consciousness as a ladder, it sees reality as an immeasurable field. In this view, expansion is not something waiting above us, it is already present. Human life is not separate from that expansion, it is a focused experience within it. From this perspective, we are not small beings gradually expanding into something larger. We are the expanded field of consciousness itself, experiencing life through a very focused human perspective. The human mind experiences the world from a particular body, in a particular place, at a particular moment. It feels local and personal. But the awareness within which that experience appears is not limited in the same way. Human experience can be understood as a point of focus within a much larger field of consciousness. Just as a wave is not separate from the ocean, the human perspective is not separate from the field it arises within. Nothing needs to be climbed toward. Nothing needs to be added. What changes over time is the clarity with which this relationship becomes visible. A deeper recognition. When perception begins to shift from vertical to horizontal, something very stabilizing happens. The pressure to climb begins to soften. The sense that we must become something greater relaxes. And in its place, a quieter understanding begins to appear. The expansion we have been seeking may not be somewhere ahead of us. It may be the very field of consciousness within which every thought, sensation, and experience already appears. But the real shift is even more profound than that. Because when this is seen clearly, something extraordinary becomes obvious. The universe is not something we are trying to reach. The vastness people imagine as higher consciousness is not somewhere above the human experience. It is the very field within which the human experience is happening. Which means something remarkable. Every perception, every thought, every moment of being alive is the universe becoming aware of itself from a particular point of view. Human life is not a small consciousness trying to grow into something vast. It is vastness itself, looking out through human eyes. The same field that forms galaxies, stars, oceans, and worlds is the field that is aware right now. For a brief moment in cosmic time, that field has focused itself through a human nervous system, through a human mind, through a human life. Not to climb anywhere, not to escape anywhere, but simply to experience. And when that becomes clear, something settles. Because the expansion we thought we were trying to reach was never somewhere else. It has been here the entire time. And the awareness hearing these words is already standing inside it. Robin Walton. Coherent Field Interface. Unified Field Transmission.